We start with a breaking news alert. A former Titan scout accused of murdering his girlfriend with liquid cocaine.
Now to your top 4 at 4. A former football star arrested in Utah on first-degree murder charges.
Former Tennessee Titans staff member accused of fatally poisoning his girlfriend and her unborn child could be released on bond.
New developments in the ongoing case involving former Arkansas State football player Blaise Taylor, who's accused of poisoning his ex-girlfriend, killing her and their unborn child.
And it is a very large bond, Nikki, $2.5 million for Blaise Taylor. And as of this morning, we're not aware that he has paid that bond yet.
This is the story of Blaise Taylor, a former Tennessee Titans pro scout who now faces life in prison after being charged with the murder of his pregnant girlfriend, Jade and their unborn child. Join us on this episode of Urban Crime Stories as we dive into the shocking events that unfolded on a February night in 2023, the intense investigation, and the upcoming legal battle that could determine Taylor's fate. Before we continue, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell and turn on all notifications so that you will not miss any future episodes. Blaise Taylor's journey before the tragedy was marked by ambition and success, making the events even more startling. Born in 1996, Taylor grew up with a deep passion for football. His talent and dedication on the field eventually led him to pursue a career in sports, where he found a promising role as a pro scout for the Tennessee Titans. This position was a significant achievement for Taylor, as it placed him within the ranks of a respected NFL team, offering him a foothold in the world of professional football. However, Taylor's time with the Titans wasn't the pinnacle of his career. In 2023, he transitioned to a new role as a defensive analyst at Utah State University. This move was seen by many as a stepping stone, potentially leading to greater opportunities within collegiate or even professional football coaching. By all outward appearances, Taylor was a young man on the rise, with a bright future ahead of him. Amidst his professional pursuits, Taylor's personal life also seemed to be moving forward. He was in a relationship with Jade, a 25-year-old woman who, by early 2023, was pregnant with their child. The couple had a significant relationship, and they were expecting their first child together, which should have been a time of joy and anticipation. Benning, who lived in an apartment on Lebanon Pike in Nashville, had been preparing for the arrival of their baby. The relationship, however, began to unravel in ways that few could have predicted, culminating in a night that ended in heartbreak and death. The tragic events that led to the deaths of Jade and her unborn child began on the evening of February 25, 2023. What started as an ordinary evening quickly spiraled into a life-or-death situation. At around 9:30 p.m., Blaise Taylor made a frantic call to 911 from Benning's apartment on Lebanon Pike in Nashville. He reported that Jade was suffering from what he believed to be a severe allergic reaction. His voice, filled with panic, described how she was struggling to breathe, her condition worsening by the minute. Taylor urged the paramedics to hurry as Benning's situation seemed dire. When the emergency responders arrived, they found Benning in critical condition. She was quickly transported to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where doctors fought to save both her life and that of her unborn child. Despite their efforts, the situation deteriorated rapidly. On February 27th, just 2 days later, the 5-month-old fetus was declared dead. Benning herself remained in critical condition, and she was unable to communicate or provide any details about what had happened to her. The following week, doctors and medical staff worked tirelessly to stabilize Benning. But on March 6, 2023, which happens to be her 25th birthday, she succumbed to whatever had caused her initial collapse. The news of her death was devastating, not only because of the loss of her life, but also because it meant that she could no longer tell her side of the story. As the medical team struggled to save Benning, the police had already begun their investigation. The severity of her symptoms and the unexplained nature of her illness raised immediate red flags. Detectives from the Nashville Metro Police Department's homicide unit were called in, with Detective Adam Reese leading the investigation. The sudden and severe nature of Benning's condition led them to suspect foul play, prompting a detailed examination of the scene and interviews with those close to her, including Blaise Taylor. In the days following Benning's death, the investigation was meticulous, as they sought to determine whether the allergic reaction Taylor had reported was, in fact, something more sinister. As the investigation into Jade Benning's death progressed, What initially seemed like a tragic medical emergency began to reveal a far more sinister story. The turning point came when forensic experts working alongside homicide detectives discovered that Benning had not died from a simple allergic reaction. Instead, it was determined that she had been poisoned. The medical examiner's office, after conducting a thorough autopsy and toxicology tests, found traces of a lethal substance in Benning's system. This discovery pointed directly to foul play, as the substance was not something that could have been ingested accidentally or mistaken for a common allergen. The investigation revealed that the poisoning had been carefully planned and executed, leading detectives to focus on the last person who had been with Benning, Blaise Taylor. Detectives pieced together the events of that fateful night, suspecting that Taylor had administered the poison to Benning while they were at her apartment. It was alleged that Taylor had mixed the substance into something Benning consumed, likely without her knowledge, leading to the rapid onset of symptoms that ultimately resulted in her death and the death of their unborn child. Another piece revealed during the investigation was the final moments of Jade Benning's life, which was heart-wrenching. Her best friend, who was on the phone with her during those moments, later testified to hearing Jade's last words.
And as she was saying, like, my drink tasted funny, I can't even walk straight, you did this so something could happen to the baby. And she started to say, you did this to me. You put something in my drink. I knew my drink tasted funny, and I was like, Jade. And she stopped responding.
My drink tasted funny. I can't even walk straight. You did this to do something to the baby, Jade had said, her voice filled with distress and fear. Her friend, helpless on the other end of the line, called out her name, but Jade stopped responding. These words, overheard by her best friend, painted a terrifying picture of what Jade might have experienced in her last conscious moments. They also played a crucial role in the investigation, leading detectives to believe that Taylor had premeditated the poisoning, knowing full well the consequences. As the evidence against him mounted, Taylor's behavior after Benning's death became increasingly suspicious. Shortly after the incident, instead of staying in Nashville to mourn or assist with the investigation, Taylor left the state. He relocated to Utah, where he took up a position at Utah State University. This sudden move, coming so soon after Benning's death, raised more questions for investigators. For several months, Taylor managed to avoid confrontation with the law, but the ongoing investigation in Nashville was closing in on him. In March 2024, a grand jury in Nashville handed down an indictment for 2 counts of first-degree murder against Taylor. With the indictment in hand, the United States Marshal Service was tasked with tracking him down. On March 15, 2024, Blaise Taylor was arrested in Utah by U.S. Marshals.
Can I ask your name?
Blaise.
Blaise, I need you to step out of the car for me, okay?
Okay.
What's your last name?
Taylor.
Put your hands behind your back for me, okay?
What's wrong?
You've got a warrant out of Tennessee for homicide.
His arrest marked the culmination of a year-long investigation that spanned multiple states. Taylor was taken into custody without incident and was quickly extradited back to Nashville, where he now faces the possibility of life in prison without the possibility of parole if convicted of the charges against him. The legal proceedings against Blaise Taylor began with a grand jury indictment handed down in Nashville on March 15, 2024. This indictment was the result of months of thorough investigation by the Nashville Metro Police Department, forensic experts, and the medical examiner's office. It charged Taylor with 2 counts of first-degree murder, one for the death of his girlfriend, Jade Benning, and the other for the death of their unborn child. The grand jury's decision to indict Taylor was based on substantial evidence that pointed to premeditated murder. Prosecutors argued that Taylor had intentionally poisoned Benning, knowing full well the fatal consequences it would have on both her and their child. The charges were severe, reflecting the gravity of the crime, and carried the possibility of a life sentence without the chance of parole. As the case moves toward trial, the potential consequences for Taylor are significant. If convicted of first-degree murder, Taylor could spend the rest of his life behind bars. In Tennessee, first-degree murder is among the most serious offenses, and it carries a mandatory life sentence, with the possibility of the death penalty in particularly heinous cases. However, in this instance, the prosecution is likely to pursue life imprisonment without parole, given the circumstances of the crime. As the trial date approaches, legal experts and the public alike are keenly watching how the case will unfold. The legal battle ahead promises to be intense, with both sides preparing to present their most compelling arguments. For the families involved and for the community, the trial will be a critical moment of reckoning, a chance to seek justice for Jade Benning and her unborn child. The trial date is expected to be set for late 2024 or early 2025, depending on the availability of the court and the readiness of both the prosecution and defense teams. What are your thoughts about this heartbreaking story? Do you think Blaise was responsible for this heinous act? Please share your comments in the comments down below. Remember, if you are new to the channel and like the content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to be informed of future episodes. Your support is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you with another episode of Urban Crime Stories.